But I can't believe, Sam, it's been what, an hour and 21 minutes into the show, and we have failed to mention one person's name. We've got to mention their name. We've talked around them. We've talked around the situation. It's what it was everybody's immediate reaction. Tell me why Curt Cignetti will not go to Penn State. Where are you at on this?
Because Indiana's a better job right now.
Damn right.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy? I don't know that people have realized this yet. That with the state of college football, everything he's getting, the money that they put into the stadium and the program, like we grew up, Indiana's a basketball school. Football's laughable. Are they? I know it's in their blood there, but are they at this point? It seems to be all about football at this point. And you're right. Indiana is a better job. With Cignetti gets everything he asked for. Keep on. Google me, doing it all. And it's like we're in other sports when we talk about markets and schools and brand and all that. It doesn't matter, does it? Is he lacking attention at Indiana? No, the college football world has been talking about Indiana for the last 2 years. I don't see him leaving. People could talk about the roots. A lot of times those don't really matter. Like, you don't really want to go back home. He has no pressure, and he's exceeding expectations again, and everyone expecting regression. And no, the Hoosiers are better.
Yeah. I mean, you think about, let's go back to 2000 and some of the powerhouse programs that you would never think could potentially take a back seat to Indiana. USC, Clemson, Penn State, Georgia, LSU. I mean, I'm not saying that Indiana is better than all of them, but if you're a hotshot recruit right now, you're considering Indiana over maybe all of those schools for the first time ever, question mark? I mean, it's got to be. Indiana was a laughing stock. You go back a couple years, they were a joke. So this is an unbelievable turnaround. You got Mark Cuban putting money into the program now. That's where Indiana's at. Mark Cuban finally says, oh, I'm going to give you money now. So this is a guy who's got a chip on his shoulder. The program has a chip on its shoulder. Him leaving for Penn State would be stupid at this point. Now, I'm not saying he's going to stay there forever because there are some jobs that you have to take. But there's not many that are better than Indiana right now, that's for sure.
So I'm sure you've seen even more than me, but Cignetti is the first name that pops. That's the dream hire. We don't think you're getting them, obviously. What are the names? What are the connections that really come to mind that you've heard and like, okay, that makes sense?
I've heard two that I think are very realistic, and they're not retreads. Well, I don't want to say retreads. They're not like guys that I think you would think. The first one is actually Bob Chesney, who's followed up Cignetti at James Madison. Chesney as a head coach is 125-51. He's got 5 Patriot League titles. He was at Holy Cross, and then when Cignetti left James Madison, Chesney went there. He's 48. He's young. He wins. Players like him, and that could be the next, I don't want to say next Cignetti, but if you want to follow the Indiana model, you take a guy like this, not some guy who's been at 6 schools in 15 years. You know, you want stability, and a guy like that definitely puts in the time. He's gone through the ranks, Johns Hopkins, Assumption, Holy Cross, James Madison. I think he's going to be the next guy up for a big job. So Chesney to me is maybe the guy. Number 2, you're going to laugh. I know you are, but I've heard this name a ton. You ready? You sitting down?
I'm sitting.
Pat Fitz. I've heard it.
I like it. Yeah, he's been forgotten about in the national landscape. I haven't seen anybody bring up his name to any job. He's made the money. Northwestern takes down Penn State on Saturday. That would be hilarious. he was connected, or the rumor, you remember when you were covering them, was always Michigan. And it was kind of laughable to me, probably to you too. Like, he's not ready for a job like that. But to the level they're probably going to have to go, that would make sense. The names that I keep hearing that I'm just not into, Manny Diaz, Matt Rule, like people keep throwing those out because of the connections to Penn State. Like, I don't think that's going to get people excited. I don't know that Fitz does, but he won. He would exceed expectations a good amount of times, and that's what they need over there.
He won with players that stink at Northwestern.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. The recruit at Northwestern and the recruit at Penn State, completely different players. Now, maybe that'll change with NIL, but you're competing for much bigger fish at Penn State. So if you elevate the coach to a program that has more money and more recruiting power, maybe it would work. But I think Bob Chesney is a name to really keep an eye on, the head coach of James Madison.
Good one. I like it. Before we jump to the card, I just wanted to get your reaction on one other name that I heard Klatt throw out, which I thought was like, that got my attention. It was like the last name he threw out, and I was like, ooh, yeah, that's probably a name that I would definitely go after if I'm running Penn State. Brian Hartline.
That would move the meter, you think?
I just look at the receivers he brings in. Like, you get a young guy, might be your forever guy. That's why that would excite me a little bit. Don't you think they need someone who's not? It sounds like the names that you brought up, you don't want to really go to the retread route. And I'd be a little worried. Like, what do you have to lose at this point? And he's probably not going to command. Like, to get Fitzgerald, what is that going to cost? The guy just made a ton of money off a lawsuit. So what is that going to command to get him? I mean, that would make sense. His kid just graduated high school, right? So the timing makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to be coaching his kid on any level anymore. Like, he's going to be going off to college. Timing makes sense there. But so you think he needs to climb the ranks, even though he's done a lot at Ohio State on the head coaching front?
No, it's funny. You're like, oh, well, Manny Diaz doesn't move the meter. Like, I don't know that Brian Hartline moves the meter. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good hire. I just think if you're looking to make a splash, that's not the name. But if you're looking to
I look at that as like a Freeman
name.
hire. I look at that as like a Freeman type hire.
I don't know what they're going to do. I have no insight on this. I heard a lot of Rule the other day. There's a lot of connective tissue there between some of the decision makers and Matt Rule. Fine. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's wild that Penn State goes from national title contender in early September to firing the coach on October 12th. Life comes at you fast, huh?
You got to find someone with upside, because you've got to do better than Franklin. We laugh at Franklin. He had to go, but he also did some good things over the course of 11, 12 years that he was there. All right. The card next week. Well, the biggest game is Georgia Ole Miss. There's no doubt about that. It is 7 Saturday afternoon. Georgia laying 7 at home, total 54 and a hook.
Ole Miss was sleepwalking through their game against Wazoo. Did you happen to catch any of that game? It's like Lane wanted to do nothing and put nothing on tape. They struggled against Washington State. 24-21, the final score. If that's not a look ahead, nothing is. I mean, they were sluggish. They were slow. They were 33-point favorites and won 24-21. How do you think practice will be all week at Oxford? Huh? How do you think that's going to go with Lane cracking the whip? Initial push, though, did come on Georgia. They opened at Circa at 6, and now we're at 7 at a bunch of spots, including BetMGM. That will be a very highly handled game. Should be a really, really good game. Here's one that's also big, and I know you have a lot of thoughts on this rivalry because you've grown up around it. How about Notre Dame and USC?
Yep.
Notre Dame opens up at Circa as a 9-point favorite. It is 7.5 at a bunch of spots. Chris has 7 offshore. Initial push on USC.
Total. 59 and a half
60,
and climbing.
62 now.
It's going over. Oh, 62? I just saw 59 and a half
62
a few minutes
now.
ago. Jesus. It's probably still going over. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I'm telling you, that was not that high a few minutes ago. Okay. It makes sense. Not under. Not for me in that one. That's a good amount. Like, there are a few games that really pop. I wonder which ones are going to be popular underdogs. Is Ole Miss? Probably not, as you mentioned off of last week's performance. USC, they beat up Michigan, man. We were heads up on 2 games. You got one right. I got one right. The one you got right was Texas. The one I got right was USC. Man, they handled them. And they're going to have another opportunity here to impress in front of the country going into South Penn. I'm looking forward to that game. I could see it coming down a little bit more, but I get it. Another sizable point spread here in the SEC, which could be a very good game. How about Bama laying 8 against Tennessee? Numbers 8. But this has been a tough road here for Bama. So over the weekend, it's a push in their game. They end up winning by 3 on the road at Missouri. I think that sat 3 all week. I never really saw it come off the 3. And there you get a push there. And now they're going to have to lay 8 against the Vols.
Bama's been very impressive. And it's crazy. I saw this stat that Bama has faced an opponent every week that had no losses. Isn't that something? Like, the team coming in did not have a loss. And Bama has beaten all of them except for Florida State. I mean, to go Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri in a row, bang, 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 and win all 3 is very impressive. And Ty Simpson, I mean, you want to talk about Heisman Trophy contenders? He's right there with Carson Beck. Depending on the sports book you look at, those 2 are mano a mano. They are right there near the top. Simpson made some throws on Saturday that were insane. No thoughts on that game, though, yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with Alabama, Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay. And you look at Tennessee, they've been in a lot of close games. Arkansas, they win by a field goal on Saturday. They won at Mississippi State in overtime. And that one, remember that Georgia loss in overtime, 44-41. So my first thought was the +8, just because it's been 4 really tough games in 4 weeks here. And this is the 4th one in that stretch. But more to look at with that one. Vandy's favored over LSU, and they're back in Vandy. It opened 1.5. Vanderbilt now a 2.5-point favorite against LSU. That's going to be an early game on Saturday.
There are 3s at a couple books, and all the 2.5s are getting pricey. So BetMGM has 2.5 minus 15. A couple other books minus 18. Pinnacle and Chris are at 3. They moved right there. It didn't take long. I mean, this line opened up in Vegas at 1:47 p.m. yesterday to pick 'em. Hasn't been 24 hours, and we're from pick to 2.5, 3. Those are bets from respected players. Not big limits, because you can't bet a lot on Sunday the week before, but definitely some notable accounts betting Vanderbilt there. 2 other quick ones. Iowa, Penn State. What was this look ahead with Franklin and Drew Aller? I don't even know. I don't know. Iowa is now a 3.5-point home favorite against Penn State. Remember, Franklin out, Drew Aller done for the season. Yep. Iowa 3.5. And then here's the one that's going to be very popular. Oh, well, Oregon will bounce back. Oh, they'll be fine. Got to go all the way across the country and take on Rutgers. The number's been bet up a little bit. I don't know how high we're going to go. Oregon minus 15.5 out to 16.5 at Rutgers. What do you think the room's going to bet in that one, huh? Oregon bounce back.
Yep, I think we know. Will the room be on Oklahoma again? 4.5 at South Carolina. Expect Mateer to be healthier, but it was a bad performance, which we can dive into.
Mateer's dead. I'm sorry.
He's dead?
It's over. It's over.
The Heisman thing. Not in general. He's still alive.
Okay. He's not technically dead, but the Heisman is dead.